Bernie Sanders was thanked at one of his town hall style events by a man who was recently at a different Bernie town hall, and he basically went in there and said, my healthcare situation is so out of whack. I have a chronic illness. I can't afford to keep paying this. My premiums, sky high. I need help. And Bernie's like, well, what was your plan to pay for it? And he was like, I don't have one. I was going to kill myself. And we covered that video on the show. Bernie talked to him after his event. Apparently he worked with him and tried to find a way to set something up so that he can be taken care of properly. I think there was a GoFundMe, and then Bernie also contacted, some other lawmakers, and they worked something out. I don't know exactly what they did. I don't know if they somehow maybe got in contact with the insurance company or whatever. I don't know. But I do know he ended up helping this guy and kind of helped save this guy's life. So now this guy goes to another Bernie event. You're about to see that here. Try to hold back the waterworks, man. they could pop up for sure, but take a look and then we'll discuss.
Because of your support, Senators Cortez, Masta, and Jackie Rosen got involved and straightened out my bills. This is mine. I'm a Navy veteran. I served 20 years. I saved lives. My TRICARE is not acceptable anymore. They took it away. I have Huntington's disease. I'm in stage 4. I can barely take care of myself, and I do not have the energy to fight these people. And I was retroactively reinstated, and I only had to pay the $29.50 a month from when they canceled my insurance without my knowledge.
John, I'm looking at a bill. It says account balance $139,000. How are you going to pay off?
I can't. I'm going to kill myself.
John, stop it. You're not going to kill yourself.
So thank you for rescuing me. And I have this to give you. This. This is mine. Leather flight jacket. I want you to have that. That's my original issue flight jacket and a flight patch.
Well, let me say this. John, I so much appreciate this. I am not going to take it because it's a beautiful jacket. It's a jacket that you earned, and I want you to keep it. But the last time I saw you, I will take that. That I will take. Okay. The last time I saw John, it was not a good circumstance. We had a brief conversation. And I'm so happy that working with your senators in our office, we were able to rectify your situation.
That's incredible. That's incredible. If you talk to people who know Bernie in person, a lot of them will tell you that he's kind of like a curmudgeonly old guy, cranky old dude. And a lot of people who care deeply about fixing the system are interpersonally awkward or rigid. But yeah, because he's mad because the system is so broken and he sees stuff like this every day, day in and day out. People, telling him their horror stories about what they're dealing with, whether it's one of the 500,000 Americans that go bankrupt every year for medical bills, or it's somebody panicking because they think they're going to die because they can't afford more care. If it's one of the many people who are victim to the over $1 trillion in student loan debt that we have in this country, somebody whose life has been torn apart by war, whatever it might be, he hears this stuff all the time, and it would weigh on you too. But he has a steadfast resolve to fix these problems and to fight back against the broken system and correct all these wrongs. And, this is this is like as real a situation as it gets. That poor guy wanted to kill himself. And then now he's going to have more years of life, and this situation is fixed. He should have never been in that situation in the first place. We should have Medicare for all, and everything should be free at the point of service. But he was in a terrible situation. And now Bernie helped fix it and literally save this guy's life. You don't get more touching moments than that. I mean, the first time I saw that, I teared up. I teared up a little bit now, too, listening to it. On the one hand, you just want to say, wow, what an amazing human being that he's doing this. But then on the other hand, you're also just pissed that anybody's put in the situation that this poor gentleman was put in. It's just not right. It's not right. We have a country where, and we'll talk about this later on in the show, but we spent $7 trillion in Iraq when all is said and done by the year 2053, when you count the interest on the money that, we borrowed to pay for the war. $2 trillion in Afghanistan, and that number's probably a lowball estimate, because we've been lied to every step of the way when it comes to the Afghanistan war as well. So that's $9 trillion right there. We have all that money for the endless war. We have all the money in the world for, a $14 trillion bailout of Wall Street. The list goes on of our misaligned priorities brought about by corruption, brought about by money in politics, military-industrial complex. But we don't have money to make sure everybody has health care. That's ridiculous. And the salt in the wound, that's just the overarching fact is that every other developed country has one version or another of universal health care. And we don't. So it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. The American people have to wake up, and we need to all be part of this mass movement to fix the problem. And we know who the leader is to fix the problems. That doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of work to do ourselves, because I say it every show, we're going to have to get out in the streets. We're going to have to get out in the streets in order to get the policies that we know are the right policies. We just have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because probably over half the Democratic Party is also going to try to obstruct Bernie, along with the entire Republican Party in D.C. So he's going to need us, but what does this show here? Every time we've needed him, he's been there for us. He's helped us out. He has a track record of decades of fighting for you and me. And this is just like one of those instances where it's the culmination of all that work, and you see the true character of this guy. What else is there to say? What else is there to say? I wish that voter the best, and I hope everything's okay for him from here on. And Bernie is just absolutely incredible. I mean, you hate to make crude comparisons here, but can you imagine a situation like that where a voter says to Hillary Clinton, I'm going to kill myself because I can't pay my bills. And she's like, whoa, let's work something out. Let's fix something. And then Hillary meets with the voter afterwards and finds a way to help this person out. And then the voter comes back at a future event and says, I want to give you this thing which means the world to me, my flight jacket, because you helped save me. You helped save my life, literally. I mean, they would probably pay millions for an authentic moment like that. But they wouldn't, it's not because the outcome is the thing that matters the most to them. It's the perception from the public of what happened here that they yearn for. They yearn for the public viewing them in that way of oh my God, what an amazing person, what an authentic person who actually cares and is actually trying to help. But you can't imagine that situation with Hillary. You can't imagine, and this isn't just to pick on Hillary. You name, the other politicians. 98% of them, you're not going to get a moment like this because they probably don't care enough to meet with the person afterwards and really iron out the details and really help them in a very personal way. But with Bernie, he does. With Bernie, he does. So I'm not a big proponent of voter blaming. But good Lord, don't mess this up, guys. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity. If you're watching this video, don't mess this up. There's no more messing around. If this guy doesn't get elected, we don't know the next chance we'll have to have a real ally to the people in the White House. It's rare. It's few and far between. There's not an ounce of BS-ery in Bernie Sanders, and that's crystal clear.